Okay, welcome to my series called Tykido Finances. So I wanted to make this series mainly for the struggling entrepreneur because my channel is kind of all over the place. I deal with watches, cars, a lot of entrepreneurial advice, how to start companies, but I get a lot of questions that are the same questions over and over again from new entrepreneurs that are trying to launch their companies. And a lot of times the questions are just exactly the same. So I find myself, when y'all message me on Facebook or Instagram, it's always, should I use Shopify? Should I use WooCommerce? Alibaba? How do I know I'm not being scammed? A lot of the questions are basically the same questions, and I don't feel, I just, straight up, I just don't feel like retyping everything I've spoken about to somebody else. So sometimes I end up copying and pasting the same replies, but I figured it's gonna be a little bit easier if I just straight up make some videos on some of the most frequently asked questions I get. I know there's a lot of other YouTube channels that kind of offer something similar, but it's a lot of them don't apply to where a new struggling fucking broke entrepreneur that's trying to launch their company, a lot of the times, all the other YouTubers and YouTube channels, they already have the cash and capital, and they'll be spend this on AdSense, spend this on Google AdWords to get yourself in the SEO, search engines, do Amazon fulfillment, FBA. A lot of these things require money, and a lot of people that watch my channel, even a lot of people that watch their channels, they don't have the money. They starting at ground zero, but the advice that those channels are giving, it's kind of assuming that you already have the capital, and getting the capital and getting your company off the ground is the most difficult part. And it's something I myself have done. So whatever has worked for me. I don't know if it's gonna work for you, but I can do my absolute best to give y'all the best advice that I can give and share my own experience. And it's just so much. So I kind of got ADHD. So in my brain, it's where the fuck do I start on how to help you guys? You guys probably have an idea for a company, or you want to get into e-commerce. First things first, you need credit, okay? I don't know what y'all's credit right now is like. I started my company way back in 2007. I was just a teenager. So I didn't have bad credit. I had no credit, right? So there's a little bit of difference there. I don't know if you guys have bad credit. Some of you guys might not have credit, at all, when I started. So when I first started, way back then, obviously I needed some money, right? Even $500 counted. So I applied to as many different credit cards as I could. And you wanna do this all in a super short time frame. You don't want to apply for one credit card 1 week and then the next 2 weeks or next week apply for a different card. Do this shit all on the same day. When you're applying, just apply to at least 10. That's what I did. I just shoot my shot, apply all 10, and see how many I would get. So I do want to stress that I'm not trying to tell you guys to do anything illegal, but sometimes you kind of have to do whatever it takes. And whatever it takes, it's gonna hit your morality. Some of you are gonna be I got some morals and I don't want to take this advice. That's cool, but you have to understand, when I started with zero, nothing. I didn't have rich parents that just showered me with money. I didn't this was whatever the fuck it took. And Okay, so back to the credit cards. How do you get approved for credit cards if you have bad credit? No credit. The truth is you have to lie. That's what I did when my first credit card was a Canadian Tire credit card. If you guys are in the US, obviously don't have Canadian Tire, but look for banks that are, or just Google credit cards that are easy to achieve to get. Anyways, I applied to about 10 different credit cards. About 4 got me approved. All of them I just lied on. Like my annual source of income, juice that all the way up. Like you don't want to be like I'm making like 100 grand and you're only bringing like 20 grand. But let's say like you're making $30,000 a year. Just put you make 50. Like that's what I would do. All this is what I would do. I would just juice it up. Like no harm, no foul. Like yeah, you're gonna be lying. Like I've given this advice to people that have come to me and then like, oh, my morals don't allow me to do this. Like, man, honestly, fuck your morals because right now you're broke and you have a family to feed, you got a girlfriend. Do this for them, right? So yeah, I lied on my credit application. They asked me like they'll ask you questions like how much you make a year, how much is rent. Put your rent low. That's what I would do. Or better yet, I would just say I live with my parents. Or if my parents owned like a place, I would say I live there. And then if it asks like how much it costs monthly, just put 0. So yeah, juice up your annual income, lower your cost of living. Let's see what else there is. For your employment. If you're self-employed, because you're being an entrepreneur like me, since I was self-employed, never put the same address that you live with the same address that you work with. If possible, use a different telephone number. Don't use the same number that, you don't want to have your own personal number and your work number being the same, especially not the address. So what I did was I just rented like a P.O. box at a local post office, and that's my work address. And that's the same work address that I still currently use. I still have that P.O. box. I think it's like $150 a year. I can't really remember, but I still use it. So when I apply for credit applications, or you guys know I have a lot of cars. When I buy cars, like for my employment, I still use that address. I say that's the company address. And I also don't say I am the sole owner of the company. So even if this is your company that you're starting up, just say you're in sales. Like they want to know like there's someone above you. Like you may not even need, obviously you need cash, but it's like a lot of people don't apply for something. Like when the time hits, that's when they do something. Like when they need money, that's when they start applying. You need to be very proactive with this and ideally start young. Like get your credit cards when you're young, build that credit. But it's always good to have credit that you don't need instead of needing credit when you don't have it. Like it's good to have that safety net in your back pocket. Like who knows? Like maybe you'll have car issues and you need like an extra $2,000 for your car and you don't have that. Well, your credit card will come in handy. Or if you suddenly have an idea for a new product and you need to fund it, it's going to take too much time to apply for credit then. But if you already have it, it's going to be make your life that much more simple. Keep in mind of the APR and interest rate of credit cards. My credit cards generally are pretty low with the interest rates, but my charge cards it's going to have like 20 to 30% annual interest. So those you need to absolutely pay off right away. So that's really about it for this first video. It's technically not my first video because I do have like previous videos where I tell you guys how to get credit from PayPal, which I still use it. Like even though I have the cash, if I have PayPal credit, I'm just gonna use it. Like you can pay suppliers with PayPal and then just click use PayPal credit and you have like 6 months of no interest. So like you need credit and you need credit cards. Try to get like a line of credit. Line of credit's going to be a little bit more difficult to get, but I got that when I was super young. Like I was in my teens when I got my line of credit, and it was like 10 grand. So apply for all these things all at once. Don't wait. Because if you wait, it's gonna hit your credit, and then like when you apply for your second or third card, they're gonna be like, oh well, Ty, he applied for this credit card like 2 weeks ago. So on the same day, apply for all the cards, even if okay for it doesn't even have to be different companies. Like if I'm applying for I did this when I applied for my Amex. I got the Amex Black card, the Centurion card, Amex Gold card, and also the Amex Everyday card. So I have 3 Amex cards that I applied all at once, got approved for all 3 of them. That's because it doesn't have to be the same company, but they can't really see. If you apply it all at once, they can't see it hit your credit score just yet. So apply for all credit cards, same day, all at once. Get loans, same day, all at once. If you have to, juice up your annual income. Don't make it ridiculous, guys. Don't don't say you make like $1 million or nothing like that, but just pump it up. Use a different address for when you are applying for your employment. Use a different address for your living situation. Like I also fudge that up a little bit. Like if I live somewhere for 3 years, and sometimes I say I lived for 5 years, like they want to see you're stable and you stay put and not moving around all the time. They want to see like you're not moving job to job all the time. So like I said, I'm not telling you guys to lie, but to me, it's kind of do whatever it takes. Do what the fuck it takes. Get this money. That's about it for this video. I'm gonna try to upload a lot more of this type of content because I have so many questions in my inbox, and I feel so bad that I can't take the time to answer and be in depth with every single person that I come in contact with. So I'm gonna try to make more videos, pump all this out, as well as keep my current content, which is a lot of cars, a lot of watches, my Turo businesses, stuff like that. Anyways, peace.